In terms of transport management, we have a run management section. So this will basically let you search for a due date. So if I search for today, for example, we can see the delivery that's just been created in SAP. From here, we're either able to assign a run and cycle if there isn't one already assigned. If you have standard runs in terms of where you're delivering your orders to, these can basically all be predetermined based on the data from SAP in terms of you can set them based on the customer, and our system will automatically know which run they will go in, and then you can set the cycle, where the cycle is basically the time of day the delivery is happening. So you could have like a morning cycle and an afternoon cycle, for example. Otherwise, you can manually assign everything here in terms of I can assign the north run, I can assign a new cycle. We can see this is now being assigned to run north and cycle 1 here. From here, you're able to determine things like the expected delivery time, if that's kind of how you want to go, as well as you can change the due date as well from here. You're able to assign a manual sequence, which is basically the order things are being delivered from, or we can basically optimize that route in terms of things like time, in terms of things like, if you don't want to avoid toll roads and things like that as well. But at the moment, it's just set to be manually allocated here. From here, if we hit this update run cycle, we can see that for this run north, what's cycle 1, we can basically assign a driver from SAP. So you can have your warehouse manager go and basically go through all of the runs that are being assigned for. We can hit update, and then we can see this north run here has been assigned to buyer Fred. We can then go back here, and we can basically search again. And we can basically print a manifest that'll print out all these runs. It'll get all the address information, and basically that can be given to each of the drivers just after this gets generated. And this gets just be printed as like a PDF A4 document. So you can see here, it has the delivery number, it has all the dates, the runs, the cycles, the drivers, the addresses, customer name, and this is a barcode that can be used within our POD system, where you scan it and it'll just go straight into the POD without having to do any kind of manual searching. Otherwise, the drivers can go to the load. I suppose the warehouse manager can go to our route planning system, where they can search for each of the days, each of the run cycles. They can hit select, and they'll basically be able to see the route that's going to be taken. We have 2 views, which is one is just a direct route, and we also have the actual, wrong field, the actual road route that's going to be taken from here. And this will take into account everything like traffic and time and everything like that. Obviously, the more deliveries there are, the longer the run will be. It starts at your warehouse and it ends at your warehouse as well. So you can take that into account as well when you're planning your runs. Otherwise, once all your runs have been set up, you can go into the load truck, which is where the driver will basically load their run and their cycle. They'll be able to then see all the information about their deliveries. So we can see here, again, the delivery number. You'll be able to see the quantity based on the number of pallets loaded within the system. And then you'll be able to see, again, the address information and everything like that. They can then scan the license plate barcodes. So if I scan this here, we can see that the order's been scanned here, what's been scanned. That'll then increase the quantity. So you can basically have the drivers verify that they're loading all of the correct pallets when they're actually loading their trucks as well. Once everything's been scanned, the driver then can hit complete, just to say that this run is then complete, everything's been loaded, and that'll basically stop it from being modifiable, so they can't backtrack later or anything like that. Anyway, after this, you can go into proof of delivery, where you can then scan that barcode from earlier. You can also search it. So if I just search 1170, which is my delivery number, we can see the customer that comes up. You can do different document types. So within SAP, there's sales orders, there's deliveries. You can also work off invoice, depending on what you and the customer requires. Some customers may work off invoice rather than that delivery document as well. Otherwise, if you just click on the document, it'll load all the information from SAP. So you'll be able to see the items that are being delivered. This screen, again, is fully customizable. So if you want to search it by pallet instead of by each of the items, where they can then rescan the pallet once they get there, that's something that can be done. Or this quantity can be automatically calculated and updated based on the delivery, based on the pick list and everything like that. or the drivers can set it themselves. You can then enter in information such as carton count, information such as the name that they are delivering to, where you can also put extra fields here, such as I think the temperature of the cabin was one of the things that was going to be recorded. And then you can get other information here, such as the signature, where you can then have the person you're delivering it to sign it, as well as you could take photos of the items you're delivering as well. Well, take photos of anything you really need for the proof of delivery. And then once all that's done, you hit save. This will then save within our system, and it'll also save into SAP as well, just after a brief delay. So if I go to something like the POD review, I can then search 1170. It'll come up. We can see that there's the signature that's been saved here. We can see it's now finished actually updating, and it will basically generate a report as well. That'll basically save everything that's been generated. So again, you can see the items, you can see the address details and everything like this. This also saves into SAP, either in extra fields here, or there is an attachments tab it can post into as well, depending on what you prefer. And again, we can see the same report is accessible through SAP, just as a shared drive here. Oops, just as that loads. And then we can see the same report is here as well. Within our system, we also have a route history, where it'll basically keep track of when they do their PODs and when they're on the road. And you can basically then review based on the user's login, the dates, where that driver's actually been, if they have the GPS tracking enabled on their phone as well.